this voice thing, there is another person I know who has this tiny voice, in quotes.
Okay.
Pastor Edwin Dawsonama's wife.
Yes. Yes.
She has a tiny voice.
Yeah.
So instead of, I know maybe in the beginning you didn't understand your uniqueness, but it's a very unique thing. It's something very unique. Out of 100 vocalists or 50 vocalists, 50 crafts, like 100 or 200, you can get one of such voice. So look at it as a strength, as a unique. It's very rare. I don't know how many. I've just mentioned you in Ghana. I know just the two of you. In Nigeria, I could say maybe Simi. Simi has that kind of voice.
Ours is particularly small.
Yeah, but I want you to switch from seeing it as, oh, I want my voice to be this way. No, see it uniquely as it is and harness it. Because see, imagine you are doing voiceover for children's content. You just do it. You don't have to fake a voice or switch to some falsetto or something to. No, it's just there. You just do it. So see it as a strength. See it as a treasure. That's what I want to say. It's a treasure, really. And then trust God to bring out the best in it.
Absolutely.
What made you start recording songs?
Wow. Akesse Brempong. Strangely enough, right?
Wow.
Like, Akesse, he just spoke very casually with me and said, and well, this was 2016 at that time, so yes, it's been a while. And over the course of a few years, a few other people have confirmed that, I'm not sure how they break it down, but there are some people they consider, oh, you do well as a recording artist. And there are some who, oh yes, live music is like your thing, that kind of thing. He was just teaching me pretty much, and giving me advice on what he thinks will really do great with me and the kind of voice I have and my style of music. And that was when he said, record your songs, like go to the studio and record them. Yeah, it will fly. We were just talking.
Wow.
It was when I started Praise Train first. I admired him so much, and I tried to reach out to him, and he responded. And so I spoke to the person managing him, and I got him on my first edition of Praise Train.
Wow.
And that's how, although I knew him very briefly in school because he had already graduated when I came in.
Yeah.
But there's this alumni program that Pensa does, and he came in
ITI.
and yes, and he was already popular, and everybody knew him, and I'm like, I don't know him. And they say, oh, he's great, he's amazing, he's this. And that's when I saw him. That was it. But after school, and I just liked him, and the way he vibed was really cool. So I tried to get him on Praise Train. And a friend of mine, Akesse, new page. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, I know
yeah.
you.
Yes. He pushed me to start Praise Train.
Wow.
So I have a lot of people to be grateful
Wow.
for. So yes, he also helped me speak to Akesse, and I already liked Akesse, so I was like, yay. And that was it. So from then he would give me advice, and so he encouraged me to record my songs.
Wow. So
yeah.
Wow. Okay, we'll come back to Praise Train.
Yes.
Wow. So how was it like recording your first song?
It was
Which one was your first song?
The first song was Don't Turn Your Back. Don't Turn Your Back was my first song. I did that with Esaias. Esaias is like, he raps. Yes. So I did Don't Turn Your Back, because I was told by Akesse to record your songs, and I had a lot of songs. I have a lot of songs, but I just I didn't know the right people. I didn't know studios. I didn't know if I had the funds for it and all that. But I had a friend who was working on some music, and I was doing BVs for his songs. So I ended up in a studio and I did the BVs, and the sound engineer said, "I think your voice is amazing. Do you have songs?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Do you want to come record it? The only thing you pay for is maybe if an instrumentalist will have to play, I'll get you one and then you pay them, but I'll do the rest for you." And that's
Wow.
how come I recorded Don't Turn Your Back.
Which producer did that kindness?
Do you know Sedi?
Steady. No.
Oh, he's like a he tells stories. I don't know.
Okay.
He tells stories with his music. He
Okay.
does some kind of folklore or something. It's
Okay.
pretty interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, Sedi, yes, that's his name.
Wow. So he produced that one, the first.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, we did it in his very small studio at the time. He was setting up. He was still setting up, and so
Wow.
he just helped. And for me, "Don't Turn Your Back" was a song that I wrote from a discussion on Facebook, because people were so convinced that in this life you cannot be holy. You can't be holy. This Just allow yourself. Don't strain. Don't stress, because Christ has covered. He has paid it all, and the grace has been given. So we are moving with grace, because God Himself knows that we cannot live a whole. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's how it works, And it was an argument, People were throwing Bible verses around and all that, and I was convinced that to conclude that that God does not have the power to give you the ability not to succumb to sin is turning your back on God, because He has said He's giving you His Spirit when you receive Him, and that Spirit gives you the power both to do miraculous and not to live a life as you used to. That power is not just for signs and wonders. That's if you don't consider not living in sin or being transformed, not a sign. But the power gives us the ability to not sin. And I was saying that not just based on vague conviction, but I really knew what I was saying, because I was trying to tell people that we've all come a long way. I used to be very the way the person of me would express herself when she's angry, and just be vile and vindictive, I feel like, and to me, having known what I know now was a form of pride, because I feel like you don't have the right to hurt me. How dare you hurt me? Because I'm good. I never do anything wrong. So if you cross my path, I'll sting you. That kind of foolish mentality. and and then you bump into God and you can't let go of Him. And you're sitting with Him and sitting with Him. And all of a sudden, that thing just died. You don't even know where it went to. Someone offends you and you're like, please, let me focus on what's important. You can't be angry again. You can't be worried again. Like, things just die, bit by bit. And I think that is so powerful. And I was convinced that you can, if you sit long and hard enough with God and the Holy Spirit, that power gives you the ability to do anything and live above sin. And so I was like, it's easy to say, "Oh, it's not possible. I've given up." It's very easy. And sometimes it's even, you're cheating. You didn't try hard enough and you say it's not possible. That's cheating,
Wow.
And so I told him, "Now you're trying to turn your back on God. Don't make this about an inability or impossibility to live right. You're the one turning your back on God. So if I'll tell you anything right now, is don't turn your back on God." And that's where the song came from.
So it's more like you were interacting with somebody.
Yes.
Okay.
And that message came. So whatever it is that I was sharing with him, I turned it to a song.
Okay.
And I recorded it. And
wow.
Yes.
Wow. Interesting. Wow. So when did you record Hope? Hope was number what?
Hope number 2.
Hope was number 2.
Yes, Hope
Okay.
was number 2.
I think I was telling you earlier, that song is beautiful. It's a classic.
Wow.
Yeah, so tell me about Hope. Were you feeling hopeless?
Oh, yes, I was. Where do I start from?
And the testimony you shared.
Right. Yes, I will. Where do I even start from? Let me start from here. So Reynolds the Gentleman produced the song, and like you're saying, I think that the sound behind the voice really accounts for a lot, because I think he did a very good job. And yes, that brought out a lot of, and he particularly said, I want you to sing the song like you're feeling it, because sometimes, because it's not very comfortable, plus you want to be spiritual because you're talking about God, yes, giving you hope, put away the emotions and sing the song to glorify God, and that was, I think, 2017. And he said, no, you are in the studio. Forget, if you want me to off the lights. I remember vividly. He said, if you want me to off the lights, I off the lights. If you want me to what do you want? But I need you to pour out your heart with the song. So that he taught me a lot about emoting the music, even before, I came to understand, or even before I came to have a full understanding of what it means to truly worship, because it would take everything, your mind, your heart, it would take everything. You emote it,
Yeah.
if it's real, and yes, so that song came from, I don't know if I should say, maybe hopelessness is not the right word, maybe confusion.
Okay.
And when there's confusion, at least from my experience at that time, and a lack of clarity, it communicated to me that a lot of things would not go smoothly, or a lot of things will delay, or a lot of things will not just turn out right, because I know that I'm not clear. I know that I'm confused. And so I can't see beyond all the confusion. And I was just tired, man. I'm like, so me who's always preaching, nothing is impossible with God. I mean, where is your hope? That you have to hold on to the word. Heaven and earth will pass away. The word of God will never. Me who is preaching that, I wanted to say, nah, this one is not possible. I can't figure it out. I won't be able to figure it out. And so I speak with myself a lot. I think that this might be wrong, but maybe I speak to myself more than anybody. I don't know if it's wrong or right, but I speak to myself more than anybody else in this world.
You have a board
Look
meeting.
on your face.
Board meeting with yourself. And you take decisions.
I sat down and I was asking myself, like, remember, things that have happened, and you thought that you wouldn't be able to get past it, but before you know, you look behind you and it's a past story. But now I'm like, nah, this one is it's like, I'm quite sure of, I will not be able to, nah, this is too heavy, it's too stressful. And it's like, that time when Mary says that it's like everything that could happen wrong is happening at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, that kind of situation.
Wow.
And so, in talking to myself, the thing that got me back to God was the fact that I can't give a chance to impossibility, because then I will make God a liar. I can't give a chance to impossibility because I'll make God a liar. And so the first part of the song says, should I faint and give this one chance to impossible? I was writing because I had just finished talking with myself and I was still thinking, and that's how the song started.
Wow.
I can't remember how the melody came.
Wow.
But shout out to Hope. Yeah.
Wow. And tell me about the testimony you shared
Yes.
with me.
Sure. I When Hope was released, I got two contacts, and they're still my friends till today. One from Denmark, who heard somebody playing Hope and was like, I whoever it is that sang the song, I want to have that person's contact on my phone. I need to know that person. And so we got connected, and he's still my friend till now, and he's been a blessing. And then another person was I think Jojo Bediako. Yeah, I think it was Jojo
Okay.
Bediako. Yeah, he was a radio presenter, and he was just blown away by the song, and he admired it, like you're saying. He says it's beautiful. When he said, when he heard it, he said, is the person a Ghanaian?
You see?
And if this person is a Ghanaian, I want to see her. And I'm like, "Ooh, okay." But then the the glorious thing about it is, even though people heard it, I heard some comments like, "Oh, but this is not a gospel song. This is not a Christian song. This
Really?
song is not." No, they said it's not a gospel song. It's inspirational music, right? And at that time, I'm like, no, it's a gospel song. Can you imagine? I was really like, no, I'm a gospel singer. Like, I sing Christian. God have mercy, things we've done. Anyways, but at that point, it was like, she's not. This can't be a Christian singer or a gospel singer. It's inspirational music. Before you know it, tomorrow singing about love. This one she has sung about hope. Tomorrow she'll sing about something else. And for me, at that time, I wanted to convince them, and and I didn't have the platform to convince them. Like, hey, God. Anyways, but I was in church, and I had somebody come to church, someone who I didn't know, had never seen. She had come from Legon campus, and she was looking for me, apparently. And they pointed at me, and then she came and said she's looking for Ruthie, and I said, that's me. And she said, she just wants to say thank you for recording the song Hope. And I'm like, oh, okay. And the testimony was that she was in the same situation I probably was in when the song came. And at that point, she didn't see any hope. And she had planned to take her life the next day. And she just wanted to sleep, wake up the next morning. And once her roommate goes to school for lectures, she takes the pills. She was ready, and when she woke up hearing hope. Her roommate had found hope some way, somehow. I think I put it on YouTube first. I think I put hope first, even before Don't Turn Your Back. At that time, I didn't even know I'll have a YouTube channel. So it's later that I put, Don't Turn Your Back. But her friend was playing it, and she heard it, and she couldn't shake it off. And her friend also felt that this song is nice, and she kept playing it over and over. And after listening to it for a while, the lady who wanted to take her life asked for the name of the artist, and her friend shared it with her, and she just kept listening to Hope until she broke down crying. She cried and cried and cried, and then she got her strength back. Long story short, she did not take her life anymore because the song encouraged her, and she felt that if this person is someone I can find, because she heard that the girl, whoever sang the song, is in Ghana, or she's a Ghanaian and she's in Accra, because we have quite a vibrant church, and we have a lot of students. At that time, most of them have graduated and traveled, but at that time we had a lot of students in Legon in church, and I think that's how the song went around.
Okay.
And so it was easy to say that, oh, I know her, she's in my church, and she had to come and meet me. She wanted to
Wow.
personally say thank you for releasing Hope, because it's reminded me of why I should be alive, and it's brought her closer to God. Now, that was a blessing to have, but you know what? It answered me that I didn't need to convince anybody that it's a gospel song or not. That thing just died. That's where I learned the lesson that I have nothing to convince anybody about. When God gives me work, I execute it as best I can, and I glorify God, and I move on. There I got my answer. So that was a blessing to all of us.
Wow.
Yes.
But prior to that testimony, did you have some form of discouragement when maybe you've released a song and maybe people didn't respond to it, or it didn't spread like you've anticipated it should?
Every song that I've released has gone beyond what I ever anticipate. I never anticipate more than 3 people, the people in my house. I never, literally, when I recorded Don't Turn Your Back, my desire was that that one guy should hear it.
Okay.
So when I recorded it and I had the SoundCloud link, I sent it to his WhatsApp, his Facebook message. That's all. I'm like, work done. That's just the one person I wanted to. For Hope, I didn't even have anybody in mind. It was for me. So once I had it, I'm okay. I have never, I don't know if it's hard to believe because I don't know what people have in mind, but sincerely, I've it is always a shock to me when I have 100 views. Sincerely speaking, I don't release it with, it's like praise train. I don't expect anybody beyond my church, like, okay, my church, they love me, they will come for my program. So when somebody comes from outside, I'm like, wow, I'm serious. I don't, and it's not because I'm looking down on myself. You know, it might look like that. I'm not looking down on myself. I am doing what I was sent to do. The rest is not it's not, I've done my part.
Okay.
And I hope that God is glorified. That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow. Wow. So when you got that testimony, what did it do to you, your psyche, like whether motivating you?
Yeah.
What did it do to your psyche?
It was every time I get the opportunity, I share it because it's a blessing. It is like a real life blessing because it's not about, oh, I released this song yesterday and 10,000 views. What is the value of the impact that it made? And for me to have that, listen, I work with a very small group of young ministers. Those are the people that work with me, with regards to creating music. The team, the one and the, yes, And every time we have praise train, there is one type of testimony that always comes. Every single praise train has a testimony. And for 9 years, it is one kind of testimony. I never get the testimony that, oh, I was sick and I got healed. No. Or, someone who was dead rose. No, I don't. But there's this kind that I always get for the 9 years. Every person who comes to testify has clarity about something that they were unclear about. And I've had people start the mission for their lives after praise train. They have clarity of, this is what I should be doing with my life, or this is what I should be doing in this season. Other programs, there are 3 different programs that have started from musicians because they were at praise train. And whilst maybe one person, well, it doesn't even need to be me. I mean, there are usually a few ministers. Oh, when Kofi Nkrumah or when Wilbert was ministering or when Akesse Brempong was ministering, I saw this or I heard this and I put it down. And since then, this has been going on every year. That's what happens. So in the same vein, when these testimonies come from maybe someone listened to the song and they have a certain experience, it kind of solidifies the purpose for me because it's not in the views. I cannot measure that. So I can measure it for real. But when a life is saved, when a vision becomes clear, yeah, that for me is like, yeah, I can work with that. And that's a blessing. That encourages me. So then the other things that God has told me, that I put it down and I say that I'm tired. Okay, you know what? Let me rest. I believe that whose life is depending on this, whose vision is being delayed because of this, and that, you know, that desire, bubbles up inside of me, and then even
Get
if
to
I don't know
work.
where to start, it pushes me to pray because then I know help would come. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. So, um, so we've looked at hope. Now, I realize that you have an inclination for Hausa. I don't know whether it was Hausa
Yeah.
in some of your songs.
Yes.
Do you Is it connected to where you grew up in Nigeria?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Sanu Sanu.
Oh, yes, I understand. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, dear. So I grew up in the north of Nigeria, in
Okay.
Kaduna State. So yeah, I read, write, and speak Hausa.
Read,
So
write, and speak.
yes, yes,
Wow.
yeah. So sometimes we speak Hausa in the house, or sometimes God speaks to me in Hausa. It's the way it came, and yes, knowledge is transferable. So you can change sounds to color, you can change smells to sound, that kind of thing. So sometimes the groove I hear is definitely Hausa. There has to be Hausa words in the groove. So I think because God, in His infinite wisdom, knew some things He would want to demand from me, He created that frame of reference that, okay, let me put a dash of Hausa in there somewhere so she can pull from that. But yeah, I speak Hausa. We speak Hausa at home. I speak Hausa at work a lot because some of the parents that I
Working.
work
Okay.
with, they are people who have migrated from somewhere, and it's
Okay.
only Hausa they can speak well. But
Wow.
yeah, so Hausa is actually, I speak Hausa more than I speak Chi, which is
Wow.
my mother tongue. But yes, so sometimes Hausa comes up.
Wow.
Yeah, I have two new songs that are not out yet. There's a lot of Hausa in them. Yeah.
Um, God of Gods too has Hausa.
Yes. So God of Gods, right? God of Gods, SLM Studios. That's where I recorded it with.
Chris.
Yes, Pastor Chris Appel, and he made me speak Hausa in there, which I found to be beautiful at the end of the day. But he said, express yourself in any language apart from English that you know how to express. Like, you're telling God that you are God, the one that made the heavens and the earth. Say it in a language that, you feel. And I'm like, yeah, it's Hausa. And he's like, yeah, then sing it. So I did. And yeah, that was it.
Wow. Interesting revelation.
That's how that one went. Yeah.
Wow.
I think that Pastor Chris he's amazing. Sometimes I feel he believes, I don't know what he has seen or what he has heard, but I think that sometimes he believes in me more than even I'm seeing. Like, hey, he's like, Ruth. I'm like, sir. But
So, you've been you've released singles and you've released an album.
yes.
Wow. What has been some of the highlights for you? You shared the testimony on the hope, but what has been some of the highlights in releasing songs into mainstream, and what has been some of the highlights and maybe low moments for you, and what has kept you through those low moments?
Sure. I remember when the idea for the song Sing dropped. Another low moment that birthed Sing, I knew that it would be a reggae song, and immediately I knew that I wanted to do it with Akesse. It took me 2 years to be able to have the chance to record it with him because he was traveling. That time was really busy for him. And at a point, somebody reached me and said, I can get this artist to be on it again. And I'm like, nope. It's Akesse. I'm not doing it with anybody else. And and so I waited. Now I knew it was going to be an album because I had the songs already. But Sing, and that's the title of the album, but Sing is that one song that I wanted to do with Akesse. It's the only song with, you know, a feature on the album, and I wanted to do that one first and release it before the others would come. And so I don't know if this would be a direct answer to your question, but the high moments for me in recording all these songs even before they release them is that I learn the things that are worth learning, like patience, and kindness, because when you have the opportunity to be unkind, I mean, and then many times those opportunities present themselves because you're working with people, and sometimes people are not always kind, and it's very easy to, you know, give fire for fire, but then you're looking at the song that God has given you, and how can you not be a reflection of what you're saying? So then that would press your heart like, and you're like, whew. But yeah, at that moment, something dies inside of you, you know, in your flesh. And once it keeps dying, it fades out completely. So the experience, which I think are highlights for me, are the fact that I get to build virtue or grow virtue. And they're highlights for me because that's that's the essence of everything. I think the second thing I would say is the few testimonies that come around from the songs. One song, I think before the album, Kairos Zone. Kairos Zone was birthed because that was the theme for the year in my church, Christ Oasis Ministries. And the song, people in the US know how to sing it, they don't even know me. Because because someone from church took it there, you know, came to Ghana, took it there, and, you know, after church service in the US, they would play. They're like, yeah, this is the song for the year. This is, you know, and that's a blessing. Where did Ruthie ever think that her name would be taken out there, or her song would be played in churches outside Ghana? I mean, I didn't think it. So it happening is a blessing. And so that's the second thing, the fact that I become more aware of how blessed I am by God. It's encouraging and gives a lot of peace. I'd say the only thing that would be low is that sometimes finance does not smile at you, and so it makes everything slow. Well, slow based on my plans, yes, slow, because I would have had maybe 3 albums by now if I was just, you know, diving in. Yeah, but you know what they say, you wake up with good intentions, but then the day lasts too long. But then, yes, sometimes it's discouraging, but my solace is in the truth. Everything works together for my good.
Wow.
Whether it delays or not, it will still work together for my good. So yeah, I'm good.
I like your strong conviction.
Yeah. That one, nobody can take anything away from me. You can't take that one. Yeah, everything makes sense in the end for
Wow.
me. Yeah.
Wow.